What if, by the way, Cody just got promoted. I don't know if you heard that.
So people were saying something in my chat. My computer completely froze out on me. I don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah, so Triple H left the show. Triple H left Bash in Berlin and went home to be with his daughter, who is starting college this week.
Oh.
So Triple H is not in Berlin. He's gone.
Oh, and okay, so Cody's the one taking care of all that?
Cody's literally on right now, reading all the stats, the sellouts, doing the social media numbers, everything. Cody's the one doing it right now.
Corporate Cody.
Yeah. He's a politician. He's a corporate stooge. All the top.
They say to wear as many hats as possible when you get to WWE, but like, man, he's immediately went for the big hat. He wants that pencil someday.
Can I actually jump into this before we get into the PLE? Because I think this is actually a good transition. Triple H has really taken to Cody since his return, and Cody seems to be wearing all those different hats. 10 years time, do we see Cody moving into that Triple H position? Not the COO, but maybe like the Michael Hayes position.
Oh God, I could totally see him being involved in something with WWE once it's all done. Maybe he'll even be an EVP one day. Who knows?
Oh dear God, please don't.
No, like yeah, definitely. I bet you Cody Rhodes is interested in doing some of that stuff. Like he clearly was when he was in AEW, right? He wanted to do that, but then he realized, oh hey, I'm doing this about 15 years too early. I still have a lot of money that I can make here, going out and being a part of the actual show. But yeah, I imagine he'll want to be some sort of producer someday, maybe a booker of some sorts, an agent. I totally see that up his path. Same with CM Punk right now. It looks like CM Punk is maybe being groomed for the Shawn Michaels position down in NXT.
Dude, I was thinking that as well, because the way CM Punk was acting during the match with the crowd and the people around the ring, the commentators, it really feels like CM Punk is becoming, no disrespect, that corporate stooge that he didn't ever want to be back in the 2010, 2013 era of that feud with Hunter and Vince and obviously Kevin Nash, which we won't get too far into, but he's become what he hated. And
I guess in a way what you're trying to say, right, is that he has become like the company guy. He's a company guy now. He's no longer just he's not anti-establishment anymore. He is what WWE is doing, and he is the guy for the company.
And it absolutely hurts my brain to see it, but
it's crazy to see, isn't it?
I like it though. I really do. I think there's a lot more value in CM Punk being that company guy with WWE than just being a guy getting a paycheck at AEW. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It totally makes sense.
It's yin and yang at this point, and I'm gonna take yang over yin at this point. So I love this. I love this version of
right
CM Punk.
Into the actual show though, because there isn't really a clear-cut way to go to the yin and yang into the show, right? There's no transition right there. I'm just gonna say the yin and the yang of the show. It doesn't matter which side you were. It was freaking awesome.
It was amazing.
I loved this thing. It was amazing, start to finish. One of the best in-ring PLEs WWE has had this year, in my opinion, because the in-ring talent just spoke for itself here. This wasn't all about storylines necessarily. Like, granted, the storylines came into the match and they played a factor, but like it wasn't like the big moment, a big reveal, a big turn, a big twist. This was just, here's the wrestling match, here's the story going into the match, and let's tell the story there in the ring. And it was fantastic. What was your favorite part of the show, though? What would we kick off with? If I can speak English.
Kicking off with it, let's start with, in my mind, the best match of the night, and that was Cody and KO.
The very first one, they opened up strong, didn't it?
They started off strong. They really let the crowd get into it, which I thought was awesome. This crowd, by the way, it wasn't quite France, but it definitely beat Clash. So I'm really happy that Germany really showed up and was able to give their kind of enthusiasm in the way that they do it over there. So it felt like a Bundesliga match, like Wade Barrett said. Even at one point, Wade Barrett's up and dancing like this. But going to the Cody and Kevin Owens match, the only thing I can say is I think there was a really big missed opportunity. They should have had the turn. I know they're probably slow playing it like Triple H does, but I think tonight was the opportunity to do it. So other than everything else, this match just cooked. It told a beautiful story. These two really put in a hell of an effort. Overall, wrestling was good. Like, wrestling was very good. Forget sports entertainment. Wrestling was very good across the entire board, actually, tonight in all 5 matches.
This was a wrestling fan show. This wasn't necessarily a sports entertainment fan show. And, like, I think they did that on purpose for the Germany crowd because they do like pro wrestling over there. What's the name of the independent company they keep mentioning? WXW, West Side Wrestling, something like that?
I think so. I didn't catch it during the show.
Yeah, that is like that's their bread and butter. They love pro wrestling over there. And the fact, did you hear this? The show was starting at like 500 euros, like to go sit there in the cheap seats. No wonder it was WWE's highest grossing arena show ever, which is just nuts to say. But like, 500 euros to just go chill in the cheap seats there. I don't even want to know how much it costs to go down front. But Cody and Kevin absolutely tore the house down. But to touch on your point right there with the heel turn, do you think that it made it less predictable because the heel turn didn't happen? Because I felt like going into this thing, a lot of the stuff on this show felt predictable. Like I could kind of tell what was going to happen. And I had Kevin Owens turning heel in there. The fact that it didn't happen actually made it feel unpredictable to me. I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I feel like going into this, I was going to put my I'm pretty sure I put it in my predictions that Kevin Owens was probably going to turn at the end of the match for the handshake. But really, in my mind, like I said, it's a missed opportunity. That's all I want to say is Kevin is going to turn, and when he does, it's like, okay, that happened. You know what I mean? I just think
that's how I would have felt coming into this show, because I felt like if it happened here, it's like, well, that seemed obvious to happen. I almost want to see something added in, another reason. Like, if we look at the way Triple H is booking, he isn't just swinging heel turns and face turns like we used to, right? He isn't just throwing them out there and saying, oh, I don't like you because I lost.
Yeah.
It's now there's added layers to it. And this Kevin Owens character, he's telling the truth right now with it being Cody Rhodes being his great friend. What were you going to say?
I was just about to say, maybe the added truth and the added position here is Cody taking over the press conference and stepping into that Triple H spot and showing that he is now being groomed, and Kevin Owens is the guy who's not signed a new contract yet. He's running out, and it feels like he's not being protected by the company. There's a story right there. It's like all your cards are in on Cody, and you're forgetting about the rest of us. Could be that whole jealousy segment that we had seen with CM Punk back in 2010.
Yeah,
and we could just replay it. Damn.
Hey, look, then there's a reason, right? Yeah. I'm all for reasons. More reasons in pro wrestling as to why a wrestler turns on a friend. Yeah. I'm here for it. Yeah. And so the fact that it didn't happen here, we got the handshake, leads me to believe we're still going to get more down the line. They teased Solo Sikoa going after Cody again. That feels like a misdirection, honestly. I feel like we're still getting Roman and Solo at Bad Blood.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that still leaves the door open for Cody and Kevin to have another match at Bad Blood. And again, I did this in my predictions video where looking ahead at Bad Blood, the common theme of that show is going to be betrayal, in my honest opinion.
Yes.
Across the board, whether it be Finn and Damian, Liv and Rhea, Cody and Kevin, Roman and Solo, you name it, Drew and Punk. It's all betrayal. Yeah. Every single thing is a betrayal in that. And I think that that's the direction that we're kind of moving in, but we still got to now get to Kevin Owens turning on Cody. So it's probably happening in the next week or two on SmackDown. That will get us to Bad Blood. But if it doesn't happen, where is Cody going from here? Like, is it just back into the bloodline stuff again?
I think so, because really there's nobody, and I hate to talk about opportunity because I don't want to disregard anyone that's really on the show right now, but I don't see opportunity for anyone on SmackDown that really is doing a good enough job to reach for that proverbial brass ring. Does that make sense? There's a lot of really, really, really good mid-card talent. Really good mid-card talent that could go for LA Knights and US Championship, and that open challenge is a great way to run it. It's notorious with the US title. So I think they need to run with that and just have a lot of that really good mid-card title or mid-card talent go for that title. I hate to say it, I have a feeling Atlanta could be a swerve, and we have. Oh Jesus! You know what? I just realized we're talking about. Did I just get all confused? No, I didn't get confused. I have a feeling we're gonna get swerve and get Logan Paul brought back into the mix. He did just sign a new contract, and it could just be just a filler. You know, just.
You think they do Logan Paul versus Cody again?
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
I don't see who else it could be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably Kevin. It's probably Kevin, isn't it? It's probably just a heel Kevin Owens. You're right. When you look at the card and you look at who's available, there's not many people left.
It's hard unless because like listen like we're looking at the likes of the Bloodline, and then you could go Mello. You could.
I mean, yeah, look, you could go Mello. They've got a little history with Cody there when he was brought up and all that. But you're right. And I think this is the common issue right here with SmackDown. And I don't want to start off here bitching and moaning.
No, it's fine.
The show, because like the show itself was fantastic. But SmackDown's issue is we got a lot of mid-carders right now, not a lot of upper mid-carders. Yeah. And there's nobody at that point yet that could move into that title scene with Cody. So it really does just make sense to turn Kevin Owens heel in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, probably a missed opportunity here. We'll see how they build the story moving forward. I might be singing a different tune in a couple of weeks. Let's talk about the main event, though. All right, let's talk about Randy Orton versus Gunther in what was a fantastic 35-minute matchup. Yeah. Which just, oh my God, if this is the prototypical WWE main event worked match, I'm here for it. Orton is so good at everything he does, but Gunther just continued to win me over again. Yeah. Seeing him go for 35 minutes with one of the greatest of all time is impressive.
And I said this at the start, like I looked down at the clock and I was like, wow, we're in a weird spot in the hour for this match to go. And I'm like, this could actually go 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if Randy Orton's entrance didn't take 6, it probably would have gone 40 minutes, and it was awesome. I think that these two showed the German crowd and the rest of the world what that slow, methodical type of wrestling really can do and how it can be entertaining. That was 40 minutes. I'm just going to round it to 40. That was 40 minutes that felt like 15 in my mind.
It flew by. Oh my God, it flew by.
Yeah. So honestly, if this is how they are going to start booking the main events versus when it's got a great build like Randy versus Gunther did, and the build into this should not go unnoticed. The build into this entire feud was awesome.
And what I loved about this whole build was that it felt like not necessarily just like, oh, hey, we're going to go to this because we have to, because it's Randy and Gunther. Yeah. You know, we're just going to go to it. It's going to be a world title feud, and here you go, right? They gave you reasons. They gave you the possibilities to be invested in Orton, reasons to be invested in Gunther. And the best part about Gunther throughout all of this was the change in demeanor to work the Berlin crowd as like slightly a babyface. And that has me so excited for what babyface Gunther could look like in the future, because he sold his ass off for Randy Orton here today. He took some crazy, crazy bumps. Like, Orton played the heel in this matchup. Even though he was still working the crowd and he's still Randy Orton, so people cheer for him, he was the heel. And Gunther was the babyface.
Now, did you hear this stat about Gunther? At the end of the show, Jackie Redmond dropped it saying, Gunther, since he has joined WWE, has been a champion for 75% of his career.
Oh my God.
That
75%?
Is unheard of.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think anyone has ever had that stat ever.
No, God, no. There's no way. There's no way anybody has ever been a champion for 75% of their career like Gunther has. No, absolutely no way. That's an insane stat. Like, yeah, when you look at it, he held the UK championship for so long when he came in. And then he held on to the Intercontinental Championship for so long. And now he's holding on to the world title, and it looks like it's going to be another long run here with Gunther. Man, that is such an impressive stat.
The one thing I did ask my chat, and I'd like to ask you in your chat, I'm not too sure how many people are listening while we're doing this live, but my question is, Gunther is really starting to be that almost, he's giving me that Triple H vibe, you know?
Ooh.
He's giving me that Triple H vibe of in-ring, of champion, methodical, great heel, lots of long title reigns, always in the upper card wherever he is and was. The second Triple H left that Hunter Hearst Helmsley thing and went to Triple H, it was, you know, set a jetpack to the back of him. Right. My question is, how many at the end of Gunther's career world titles does he have?
Good question. Very good question. Because like you got to look at the way he's being built. It's more like he's a long-term champion as opposed to a short-term champion, and he gets better as his reign goes on. So like I don't know if he's going to have like a ton of reigns throughout his career, but like at least 4. You know what I mean? If I'm looking at his age, like I think he's going to at least have 4 world title reigns, probably an undisputed championship reign at some point as well. Like he is being built up as one of the faces of this era, if you will, of Triple H's era. Like Triple H does not want to move forward without Gunther being a top piece of his puzzle.
Well, the average consensus in my chat was around 7 to 10.
Wow.
So
okay.
People are expecting him to stick around for a long time and have quite a few title reigns. I don't see him in the IC or mid card ever again.
No,
it's
never.
really hard to see that. So, but what a match! Again, great wrestling.
Great wrestling.
Great wrestling.
Excellent wrestling. Let's talk about the Terror Twins. All right, let's talk about Terror Twins versus Dom and Liv. A very well-worked match as well. I mean, I'm going to say this for every single match on the card. Everything was well-worked. Everything had its purpose. Everything served its piece of the card, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were watching magic unfold in front of your very eyes, especially with the top 3 matches that were highlighted in Cody versus Kevin, Drew versus Punk, and of course the main event. But I will talk about this one right here for a little bit because I love the presentation of the Terror Twins. Everybody has been screaming at the top of their lungs, Terror Twins are overbooked, Terror Twins they're too damn good. No, they are so much fun to watch. When you get an actual dominant duo like that you've never seen in the history of WWE, you push them to the moon. And I'm so happy that they got the win here because I was thinking they were going to take the L. I thought everything at the end with the Judgment Day would go on and Dom was going to end up pinning Damian Priest. That frog splash, when I saw him hit that, I thought,
it's over.
He just pinned him clean.
Yeah.
He just pinned Damian. And he kicked out, and I'm so happy.
Great kick out, by the way. Phenomenal kick out by Priest. He really, he didn't have his eyes on the referee. I don't want to get too integrated into the match, but I always watch their eyes, and his eyes weren't fully there. So he sold the pin so well, it gave me like a Roman 2.99 kick out, which I really enjoyed. That was just a nice little sentiment to kind of him making up for Money in the Bank in my mind. I'm just saying. So, no, this match was not even overbooked. It was booked perfect.
It was perfect. It was.
The big thing is Rhea has still not hit a riptide on Dom.
I know.
And I like it though, because when it happens, the pop is going to be insane. And again, the way they are booking the Terror Twins right now, they are 2 of the biggest faces on Monday Night Raw. Priest is over. Rhea Ripley is arguably the most over female in WWE since Trish. And that might be a big shout, but I don't think anyone can disagree that.
Hang on. Can we go one step further? And this might be bold, but Rhea Ripley might just be the most over women in WWE history.
I think so. I didn't want to go there, but I think no crowd has ever cheered for a female and popped like a feet for a female unless they're in the hometown than they have for Rhea Ripley. And that's why they allow Rhea to come out second to Damian to get that. Because if you listen to Damian's entrance and then you listen to Rhea's, there's a big difference here, guys. And the best part about all of this is that Rhea can actually go with the guys. And that's why I'm turning to this is, dude, book them for the tag titles.
You've been saying it.
The Judgment Day keeps getting involved. You want to get involved? Put your titles on the line.
I mean, I'm down for it. I wouldn't hate that. I think that would be very different than what we're used to seeing. Why not?
Why not?
Wrestling's fun. Why not?
We're really moving into that Netflix era. You're catching a lot of stuff that last year you would never have seen on WWE television.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, every other promotion in the world allows intergender matches. You know what I mean?
Yep, and like it doesn't have to be an intergender title. They're just going after the tag team titles.
Exactly. Like who did we see in this might go beyond some people. GCW. I think it was Masha Slamovich versus Speedball Mike Bailey. And Masha carried that entire match, and that says something because it's Speedball, right? So Rhea Ripley has the ability, unless she's going against the likes of Big Bronson Reed, like you're not going to book that, but there's an opportunity here for Rhea to be a tag team champion, a true tag champion.
There is, and this is the opportunity because of the story that we're in, I would say, with the Judgment Day getting involved, like you're mentioning, that's the chance right here.
Yeah.
I do wonder if they use this as like a bit of a ploy, if they're like to add heat to Liv versus Rhea.
Yeah.
If they were to go in this direction of Damian and Rhea going after the tag titles, say as a main event of Monday Night Raw over the next couple of weeks. And then that's where Liv caused a distraction, costing them the tag team titles or something like that. Like, as much as I'm down to see them as tag champs, I know that they are so very much entrenched in their own individual feuds that they have right now with Damian and Finn and Rhea and Liv. They're leading to big blow-off matches, but I'm still down for it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd be more than okay if they walked into those matches as tag team champions and they're competing in singles matches, right? Like, I'd be okay with that as well.
The last thing I want to say about this match is because this match was just good from start to finish, even with the interjection of the rest of the Judgment Day. Can we just give some credit to Dom and Liv, because nobody talked about them at all. Even after that match, it was Damian Rhea.
Right.
Dom and Liv looked very, very comfortable and very good. Like, they looked so good, and it just speaks to the younger talent. Like, people forget Liv is still like young. She's in her 20s. Dom, even though he's a 15-year vet, he's still in his 20s. You know what I mean? So we need to speak about how good they were in getting their asses kicked.
I think we need to talk a lot about Dom. Don't get me wrong, Liv has looked great for a while now, and like she's looked like she's arrived. But Dominik Mysterio, there was always a little bit of that question, like, where is he in the ring? Because we don't see him that often in the ring. And where he's at now compared to where he was as North American champion is night and day.
Night and day.
It's actually amazing to see the development of Dominik Mysterio. So yeah, I love them. They're doing great work right now, both Liv and Dominik, just crushing it, knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
And you're right, they are just as big a part of that match for making it as good as it was, because Rhea and Damian, they certainly brought the power, but Liv and Dom had to sell. And did they ever sell?
Absolutely. It was great all the way around. Like that drop kick where Damian Priest just put his hand in her face and then just stepped aside. Rhea's timing and Liv's flat back on that was perfect. But anyways,
we'll talk about the strap match in just a second. We'll finish off with that, but let's talk about the women's tag team titles here. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, new women's tag team champions, taking them away from the Unholy Union in a solid match. I think this is the best Jade has looked yet in WWE. Bianca Belair, again, she is in the position she is because she is wonderful at what she does. And then, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, couple missteps throughout the match here and there with some timing. But other than that, I thought that the match just flowed really well, and it was a good women's tag team title match on pay-per-view, and it's nice to see the women's tag team titles be actually put on the PLE right now.
Yeah, no, dude, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know if we're in sync with WWE right now, but we're going match for match with the people that they're showing on the press conference, just so you know. I've got the press conference.
Seriously?
We were talking about Damian and Rhea. Damian and Rhea were on. Then we went to the tags, and the tag champions are on right now. So that's so wild that we're in sync perfectly. But no, very good match. I did not think Jade and Bianca were going to come out on top on this. I thought there was going to be something different. I was hoping for a suggestion of a heel turn, a misstep between Jade and Bianca, but it was just a good flow for them to, make and I hate to use this term, but 2 stars to have titles to make them relevant. I'm going to go with that. My biggest concern about this, though, is Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, Kaylee Ray, whatever you want to call her. Where now? That's my concern, because
that's kind of my concern with the whole women's tag team division. And I feel like this is something I've been saying lately, and we need to bring back the women's tag team titles in NXT so that we can develop tag teams for the main roster.
Yep.
The idea was great. The working idea of having the women's tag team titles go across all 3 brands was a great initial idea. It didn't work. We get that. Logistically, doesn't work. Okay, let's build up women's tag teams in NXT so that way we can call people up when there's a gap right here, because how amazing would it be to call up a tag team that has been developed for the last year in NXT to go right up against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, right? And they don't have to win right out of the gate. For example, Life of the Party, when they held on to the women's tag team titles down in NXT, we were building them up so that when they arrived on the main roster, people were like, hey, that's that tag team. We know them. They're not just thrown together. Let's root for them. And they became women's tag team champions on the main roster as well. So it's just develop them, develop the teams, then you can bring them up and you'll have the feuds down the line. But
I even look at it this way. Why not have those tag matches like, an open challenge and have some NXT talent that haven't gotten main roster time yet just come up and, work for 7 to 10 minutes with Jade and Bianca, or we run it the other way and have Jade and Bianca show up on NXT. Jade looked great today, but she's still not where Bianca is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they want Jade to be where Bianca is. Show that show that match at 41, if we get it, is exactly what it needs to be. You know what I mean? So the opportunity with them holding the tag titles, there's more opportunity than just 2 stars. And with them going over to Monday Night Raw now, because they can travel between, there are some big factions or big female factions going on over there right now that they're really pushing. They're getting matches every week, whatever their alliance or, whatever they're called.
The Pure Fusion Collective.
That's it. They've got them. But then you also have that faction down in NXT with JC Jane and Fallon Henley.
That's true. Yeah. Fatal Attraction slowly starting to be built up. And again, that's where, when we look at what Toxic Attraction did back in the day, they had the women's tag titles to make JC Jane and Gigi Dolan feel like big stars.
Yeah.
They just threw them on them. And even if they weren't ready to be champions at the time, it was a way to be on TV every single week and make their matches feel more important. And so, I'm definitely behind the idea. Bring back the women's tag titles in NXT. At least that way we can develop some new factions and teams, and that way the future of the WWE roster is looking good. Now let's talk about the big strap match today between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. I think that went for like 27 minutes. Did it not? Somewhere around there?
It was around 25, 27 minutes, somewhere around there.
Oh, man. Really well done. Really well worked. I am not a fan of the 4 corners. I'll admit that. But this has easily been my favorite 4 corners strap match I have ever seen. Granted, I can only think of a few off the top of my head. The one that comes to mind is Savio Vega, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that was not great. But this had elements of that match in it. The Punk touching the corner turnbuckles after Drew touched it first, that's straight out of that matchup. And I really did enjoy this one. What were your thoughts on it, man?
First off, Michael Cole needs to learn what a strap match is before going out and calling a strap match, because I got confused at how Michael Cole brought it across to the television audience. I've only seen, in my recollection, 2 strap matches that I can remember that stood out. One was the Samoan strap match with Punk and Umaga. I watched that recently last week so I could get myself like a reminder to it. And then obviously Savio Vega, Stone Cold Steve Austin, which didn't they have to film the finish of that twice? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it was actually filmed on a Sunday night, and there was a storm and the power went out for the finish, so they had to actually redo it the next night.
No way.
Yeah, if you go back to the Stone Cold Savio Vega interview on the Stone Cold podcast, I'm pretty sure it's there.
No way.
Dude,
that's amazing.
I remember the random shit, and I'm almost 100% people are saying yes in my chat as well. So I'm pretty sure I'm right. Anyways, I didn't like how it was brought across with the pillars, and then I didn't understand. I thought it had to be you had to touch a corner next to cut off the corner. Like I always thought that's what a strap match was. So like if Drew touched and then touched 2 and then Punk touched 1, then it's Punk with 1 and Drew with 0. So I always thought it was that way. I might have been confused, but overall this match really sold me. Like it sold me on these need to happen a little bit more frequently with bigger talent, because it's not just Drew and Punk that can bring this across. I actually didn't think a strap match was what this feud needed. But it's also with what CM Punk said, I believe, coming out of Clash at the Castle, where he screwed over Drew, I think, where he said, I don't want to be doing these types of matches, Hell in a Cell, cage matches, TLC. Well, you know what, Punk? You've just moved yourself into a strap match. So now the next is another step
next
up.
Logical step.
Yeah. So I really like how this all turned out. It was obvious that it was going to be Punk, which I was completely fine with, because it needs to have a send-off, and the send-off is obviously going to be at Bad Blood. But I think both these guys told an incredible story and a good wrestling story. Again, everything we've talked about this PLE is come back to the wrestling. Like the strap match, take the strap away, the wrestling was great. These guys told a great story, and there was like certain, like the blood, which I think was actually an accident.
Okay, all right. We were asking in the chat, is this a blade? Is this a hard way?
It was the hard way because if you go back to the match, Drew swings the strap up in front of the announce table and clearly gets Punk right in the face. So I'm gonna say this was the hard way. And the last little thing before I let you have this, I think Punk took a shot at AEW tonight.
Okay.
He wore very similar gear to All In. If you look back at All In 2023.
Hang on, let's just take a look here.
Take away the stars on the back of the trunks, and the gear was very similar to All In 2023. I'm just saying.
It is a little, isn't it? It's interesting. I don't know if that's a shot or if he just likes that gear, but like either way, you never know. Punk, nothing is happening by accident with CM Punk. So we'll leave it there with that. But let me talk a little bit about this as well, because like I said, going in, I wasn't really a fan of the idea of the 4 corners. I think that the idea of reaching out and trying to tap onto the corner is very similar to an idea of like a kendo stick on a pole match, where the whole match is centered around trying to do this and trying to reach for this pole, and the over exaggerated wrestler, I can't reach it. Meanwhile, you can see their arm is bent, right? Like that stuff bothers me in pro wrestling. But this match didn't have a lot of that.
No.
There is only one time that I thought that this stood out and it made it look a little corny, was when the 3 corners were touched and they're both reaching for that final 4. But even then, they turned it around and they made it look real. Like that was my biggest concern going into this matchup, and they erased all of my concerns with it. The physicality on the outside of the ring to start the match, I love that, pulling it away from the 4 corners and letting us just know how much these two hate each other, that they're willing to literally take themselves out of the ring, which is the purpose of the match, to touch the 4 corners and just beat the ever-loving hell out of each other with the strap, with the announce table, with the steel post, everything. It was really well done, and I'll go ahead and say it's my favorite strap match I've ever seen. You were mentioning just a few other strap matches. The most recent one would have been Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre not that long ago.
Yeah.
And that was forgettable, extremely forgettable. And so I love this for Drew that he now has a memorable strap match. Because clearly he likes that idea of a match too. If he's done that with Karrion Kross, he likes this idea. So very happy for them. They just tore the house down. And the fact that it was the four corners leaves us with the open end of where are we going next? Series is tied up. Drew hasn't actually been pinned, but he did tap out. And just, I don't know, man. I think it's got to go to Hell in a Cell, right?
I was just about to ask you, where are we going with this? And it's kind of funny. In my chat, a lot of people are saying it's going to be 2 Hell in a Cells at Bad Blood. And I can't disagree with that. I think we have an opportunity with Rhea and Liv, and I think we have an opportunity with Drew and Punk.
See, can I throw something else here for the Rhea and Liv story? As much fun as it would be inside Hell in a Cell, I think putting Dominik in a shark cage would be so much better. Hang him above the ring and just watch the antics. And hopefully that leaves the opportunity for a Raquel Rodriguez to show up and still save the day for Liv Morgan. That's where I think we're going with it.
Go back to that idea that Vince had about hanging Dom from the rafters during the Eddie Guerrero.
Actually just hanging there.
Yeah, just hanging
Not
there.
In a cage, just hanging there.
Yeah, no. I think...
Can you imagine how wild that actually would have been? That would have been so wild if they ever did that.
I think they would have gone to CPS if
probably.
You know. But okay, Con, 2 questions before we end this. I'm watching my chat go here, and a lot of people are asking, first off, we need a Con Man Woe review. What did you think
the Con Man Woe review?
What was how did you rank the Woe?
See, here's the thing. Some people out there like to say that it's one woe. Everybody knows the rules, but I'm not too sure if you guys hear it. There's 2 woes in the Cody Rhodes theme song. There's 2 big loud woes. So like, unless you're a nincompoop, you would rate it off of the 2 woes, right? Like that's only fair. You take an average of the 2. So we gave the first one an 8.7 and the second one an 8.6. So we are in the middle right there. 8.65 is what we gave it for the day. Did you have a woe review?
No, I don't do woe reviews. I'll just say I think the crowd was immaculate tonight. I think it's just amazing. And then final one, Con, how are we rating this PLE? We're not going to go out of 10. We're going to go out of 5. I had a overall percentage on my chat, and then I just completely ignored them because my chat was split. But for me, this PLE was a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I think because it wasn't a lot of sports entertainment, which I always say I'm a sports entertainment guy, but we're coming off an amazing PLE or amazing pay-per-view from All In a couple of weeks ago. And then WWE just went, well, we're not going to do All In style matches, but we can do professional wrestling as well.
Yeah.
And I think they did a great job in showing that in these 5 matches. And so I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
And I want to agree with you because we rate out a 10 over on this channel, and that would bring it to a 9. I want to agree with you up there at that 9. One thing I'm going to say is that when I look at this show here, I'm trying to put myself in the position of what would I show a person who doesn't watch pro wrestling, right? I would show them Randy versus Gunther. I think that's what I would show coming out of this. I don't think Kevin and Cody hits the same as Randy and Gunther hit, just for a casual audience, if you will. Us at home, I think a lot of us will say Cody and Kevin was the best match of the night. There was enough things to keep you interested throughout the entire night, but there wasn't that one moment that is like, this is the talking point here today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything had something positive coming out of their matches, but I don't think there was that one, oh my God, this is what this pay-per-view is remembered for. So I'm going to just drop it just a little bit down here. I'm going to give it a 4.25, okay?
Okay.
Out of 5, just a little bit lower than your 4.5. And I think just because of that one missing moment, a Kevin Owens heel turn. You know what I mean? That one moment that we would have been talking about coming out of this. Yeah. But hey.
And to be fair, that's why it's a 4.5. It's because there was no dissension between the women's tag champions, Jade and Bianca, and there was no heel turn from Kevin. I think one of those would have been at least good enough to just hoist it to almost a perfect PLE for me. But no,
it was fantastic though. Like, hey, this is not us complaining either.
No,
that was so much fun.
No,
So much fun. I enjoyed it. And again, like just these day pay-per-views for us here. I'm so used to yelling and screaming about pro wrestling late at night that when you end, it's like, okay, it's 11, almost midnight. If you watch the press conference, 1 a.m. It's freaking 5 p.m. right now. Yep. There's still lots of time to do stuff. So I'm all for it. I love these day pay-per-views. I'm sure the international crowds love it as well because they don't have to stay up till freaking 4 in the morning to just watch the thing. But yeah, loved it today. But I am also excited to get back to the nightly shows because there's something about watching wrestling at night, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. And it's also, I can have the window open. It's cooler. It's not 30 degrees outside. So
yeah, there you go.
All right, buddy.
But that was a great show, guys. Make sure you let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the Straight Shoot YouTube channel right here. And you can also check us both out on our own individual channels, Conman167, MrTeshk. And dude, we're going to be back with some great content this week coming up. Holy.
Dude, if you guys don't follow Straight Shoot yet, and I'm going to talk to Con's community too, if you ain't following Straight Shoot yet, if you're on my TikTok and my YouTube right now and my Twitch, if you're not following Straight Shoot, at Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast on YouTube, make sure you give us a follow because Con and I have done some videos this week that we want to do consistently. And excuse my French, but me, it is going to be just it. No one else is doing it. So.
We're very proud of them.
Yeah.
We had this moment after we finished recording where we just kind of looked at each other. We're like, holy crap. Yeah. Like we found something. So guys, that is coming this week. Straight Shoot YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that. Check us out on all of our social media. And that is going to do it for us. If you want to watch this back as well, it'll be uploaded on the Straight Shoot YouTube channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. MrTeshk, what's the outro line?
Be good people.
Oh. All right. Bye, guys.
Oh, man, that was great.
That was great. Yep.
Well, I'll have that up probably around 6-7 o'clock. I gotta read Kinsley, but guys, on Con's channel, hope you guys enjoyed the stream and hope you guys enjoyed the review. And I guess we will both see you guys tomorrow. No, Monday. Oh,
Saturday,
wait, are you doing No Mercy?
I'm not doing No Mercy. I'm away for the day, but I'll be back on Monday.
Okay, well,
you doing it tomorrow?
There's a good chance I'll be doing No Mercy. I am doing GCW tonight, and I will be showing it on my Twitch channel. So
what time are you live with that?
I will be live at 8:30. The show goes on at 9 Eastern, so I'll be live for that. But yeah, if anybody wants to watch GCW and the Big Oos Zilla Fatu, yeah, come hang out.
There we go. All right, guys, make sure you go hang out with Tesh tonight. Shout out to everybody in the Tesh community as well. Appreciate you guys being here. But that's it for us. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you later. Bye.
That was in English. Again, what the hell is my speaking?
I don't know. Shut up.
All right, whatever. Bye.
Bye.